Hi, I'm Patty. I'm going to lead you through this unit orientation video for the first grade unit, Animal and Plant Defenses. In Animal and Plant Defenses, students take on the role of aquarium scientists advising an aquarium director. They need to learn more about animal defenses to help answer young visitors' questions about Spruce the sea turtle, who will soon be released back into the ocean where there are sharks. The aquarium visitors are really concerned about how spruce can survive in the wild after living in the aquarium. Your students will work to figure out how sea turtles and other sea animals can defend themselves from ocean predators and survive once they're released back into the wild. Then they investigate a question about spruce's offspring and how they could survive in the ocean. This context serves as the anchor phenomenon for the unit, providing concrete examples and motivation for students to discover the core ideas of the unit about how organisms and their offspring survive, and particularly how they avoid being eaten. As they work through the 4 chapters in this unit, they'll gather evidence from multiple sources by doing, talking, reading, writing, and visualizing. Their explanations become more complex over time as they construct understanding about the ideas of structure and function, and they explain how a wide variety of animals and plants and their offspring defend themselves from being eaten. This unit is a modeling unit. Students create several physical models to help explain their ideas about animal and plant defenses, including an extended independent opportunity to do so in Chapter 4. The class discusses key ideas about scientific models, and students read a book showing 2 children making models to help them explain their ideas. Students also construct oral and written explanations throughout the unit, including refining and adding to a written class explanation about the sea turtle's survival at the end of each chapter, and an independent opportunity for oral explanation in Chapter 4. The cross-cutting concept emphasized in the Animal and Plant Defenses unit is structure and function. In their role as aquarium scientists, students delve deeply into investigating animal and plant defenses as they engage with evidence via text, video, and photographs in order to design and model how animals and their offspring survive in the wild. Students return to the idea of structure and function again and again throughout the unit through a variety of modalities. Every Amplify Science elementary unit also includes a focal sense-making strategy, which students leverage as they read and also during investigation. This unit's sense-making strategy is visualization. Like most units in Amplify Science K-5, the main writing genre is explanation. Well, that's the overview. Now I'll talk you through what happens throughout the unit, how students build from their prior knowledge to get to a complex causal explanation of the anchor phenomenon. To do this, I'll summarize the key ideas students figure out in each chapter and how they use these ideas to explain the anchor phenomenon piece by piece. For each chapter, I'll highlight a few key evidence sources students use. But remember, in every chapter and every lesson, students gather evidence multimodally from many different sources. In Chapter 1, students investigate and work to answer the question, how does Spruce the sea turtle do what she needs to do to survive? In this chapter, students will focus on living things' survival needs. Students investigate this question by playing a survival game. After playing the game initially, students collect more evidence about plant and animal structures, watching video clips, and reading spikes, spines, and shells. Then they revisit the survival game and collaboratively write about how animals do what they need to do to survive. At the end of Chapter 1, students return to the anchor phenomenon. They explain that sea turtles have body parts that help them get food, air, and water. In the ocean, there are predators that might try to eat the sea turtle. To survive in the ocean, she needs to avoid being eaten by predators. In Chapter 2, students focus on exploring living things defense structures as they learn about how sea turtles could survive where there are sharks. Key evidence sources in this chapter include observing and describing animals' sharp structures for eating and their shell, spike, and camouflage defenses. Then they create models and descriptions of defenses. At the end of Chapter 2, students are able to explain that spruce has body structures that function as defenses against being eaten by sharks. Spruce's shell can block a shark's sharp teeth from biting spruce. Spruce's camouflage colors make it harder for sharks to see her. In Chapter 3, students learn about offspring survival as they investigate how spruce the sea turtle offspring can survive where there are sharks. Key experiences in this chapter include reading Parents and Offspring and engaging in a survival role-play movement routine to visualize how animals survive. After observing and discussing videos of young offspring and their parents, students draw and write about parental care. At the end of Chapter 3, students are able to explain that when the sea turtle has offspring, they will not look exactly alike, but they will grow up to have hard shells and camouflage just like their parents. These structures allow them to defend themselves from predators in the same way that the mother sea turtle does. Sea turtle offspring survive on their own without help from their parents. In the fourth chapter of the unit, students want to explain animal defenses to aquarium visitors. They develop models to accompany their explanations, and they focus heavily on developing their ability to use these two science practices, modeling and constructing explanations, to inform aquarium visitors about how animals can survive using their structures in the wild. In this chapter, students plan, make, evaluate, and update models of an aquarium animal's defense. They write a bit about these models and they present their models to the class. By the conclusion of Chapter 4, students can more independently create models to explain animal defenses to the aquarium visitors and use those models to highlight the important parts of what they're trying to explain. Well, I hope you're feeling excited to dig into this unit and that this gave you a brief introduction to plant and animal defenses as you begin to prepare for instruction. Next, you may want to dig into some of these unit resources to help you learn more about what's coming up. The at-home videos, which are accessed through the Program Hub, are also a great resource to watch for presentation ideas. I'm Patty Works, and my email address is pworks@amplify.com. Please feel free to contact me with any questions or to set up a time to work together on planning for Amplify Science. Thank you so much.